great today. The thing I want to talk about today is how to make it to medicine. So, if you've watched a couple of the videos in this channel, you know that with regards to medicine, um, I've shared my story of how I made it to medicine, and I've asked other people to come and share their stories, and more people are still gonna come to share their stories, right? So one of the things I do want to do when it comes to medicine in this channel is to motivate, right? But then I realized that motivating without helping people prepare is also not gonna be okay, because you find a lot of people are just rushing in trying to make it into medicine. A lot of people end up not making it because as much as we are motivating people to apply to medicine and try their shot, try their luck with regards to medicine, we don't take time really to help people prepare, right? So that's what I want to try to do today. So today I'm just going to talk about different avenues of how to make it to medicine, some few tips and advices. So my first advice is to listen to as many people as possible regarding the topic, right? Because from my point of view, I'll only speak to the little I know, right? You find that if you take what I know and you take a little bit of what someone else knows and you put together, you'll have the proper amount of information to take a proper step, to take the proper steps to making it into medicine, right? So yeah, let me just get to it without wasting more time. So first of all, the people I like to focus on are people who are doing grade 10 and less, right? So for people who are doing grade 10 and less, I would say that your aim should be to try to make it to medicine straight after school, right? Because you still have time to fix your marks if your marks are not proper, right? So what I'd say to you is take a true assessment of yourself, look at your marks, and your marks are a true assessment of how you are doing currently. With regards to medicine, never really look at the prospectus, right? It doesn't really mean much. For the fact that maybe you might get marks that are required by the prospectus doesn't mean you're gonna make it, right? For medicine, you must try to aim for as many distinctions as possible. The trend we are seeing is that a lot of people who make it straight from high school, straight into medicine, they're getting minimum 4 distinctions. So first of all, you know that you have to be doing mathematics, pure maths, physical sciences, and English. And these are the first 3 I would say try to excel in, and then maybe add 1 or 2 other subjects. So the thing I'd say for you is take time, first of all, to assess yourself, to assess how you are currently doing, and find the necessary help if needs be, right? Fix your study patterns, fix your plans, try to raise the mark as much as possible, but start working as early as possible. One of the things I realized with medicine students, especially if you talk to the ones who made it straight from high school, is they start preparing for medicine at a very young grade, at a very low grade, rather, let me say that, or at a very young age. You find that some of these people, when they were doing grade 8, they're already thinking competition to medicine, right? So one of the things you have to really note is that the competition is very high. So you must prepare accordingly to compete. So you must look at your marks, and remember you're competing worldwide, right? So you being excellent in your school only might not really help you. You must think more countrywide. You must review the marks of previous learners and see how well a lot of these learners are doing in their matric. Start early, prepare, be ready to compete, have a mindset to compete, and that would be my advice to you. The next group of people I'd like to talk to are grade 11s, right? So for grade 11s, I'll divide you guys into 2 groups. right? So if you're in grade 11 and it's early in the year, your focus should be on getting excellent results for the end of the year, right? So for medicine, you know that you first apply by using your grade 11 results, right? So when you're doing grade 11 early on, I'd give you the same advice as I've given to the learners who are doing grade 10 and lower than that, as to prepare. Number one, prepare for competition. Number two, have a study plan, have a study timetable, assess yourself truly where you are, right? If you are getting 60s, make the necessary amendments. You can still get distinctions. I know people who've done this, who started pushing really, really at grade 11 and they ended up getting 7 distinctions in matric and even in grade 11. So it is possible. It is very possible. But I'd say work on it very early, right? Set your study timetable very early on, and start giving it your all. And like I say, you must try to get distinctions in mathematics, physical sciences, and English, and then maybe we can add other topics. So that could be the aim for you. And if you are in grade 11 late, right? If you're in grade 11 late and you are doing well, I'd say just continue doing well, apply for medicine, and give it your best. If you're in grade 11 and you're not doing very well, and you assess yourself and you see that you're not getting the distinctions, right? This would be my advice to you. For the remainder of grade 11 and also for grade 12, there are 2 things you should be focusing on. Number one would be preparing for your NBTs. That's really important, right? I'm talking now to grade 11 who are now late within the year, right? You're in 3rd term, 4th term, and maybe you're not doing very well. First things first, start preparing for NBTs. Right? Your NBTs are still very important and they can still bring you a lot of points with regards to applying. There are many workshops for NBTs. We also held a few. I don't know if we're gonna hold another NBT workshop anytime soon, but if that happens, we'll let people know. But a lot of NBT workshops that prepare you for the NBT test. There are also some documents. I just have to find a way in which I can share. Those are some documents that I think that I can share with students who are with learners who are looking to write the NBT, that I believe will be very helpful. I will come with a plan where I can just share these things all at once, so I don't have to share it with people once per time. Maybe I'm gonna share Google Drive. I think that's an idea. In the pinned comments, there should be a Google Drive whereby I give these documents out. So that would be the first thing. Aim for a high NBT mark, because your NBT mark, as much as maybe you might not be doing that much great in your grade 11, I'd say first of all, try to get high mark as much as possible, number one. But number two, try to push your NBT mark as high as possible, right? Because this is going to help you raise your chances of making it to medicine. But I won't lie, they become a bit slim if you don't have great or excellent grade 11 results. So what I would say is be prepared, number one, to apply for a different degree, right? It could be BSc, it could be nursing, it could be any other degree, and then you can plan on transferring, especially if you come to the University of Pretoria, right? You can go into BSc and then switch and come to medicine. But for that, also my advice would be use your grade 12 to prepare yourself. One of the things we never talk about with regards to making it to medicine, we never really delve deep into, is the competition you meet, right? If you don't get the marks necessary, I would say that use grade 12 to prepare yourself for competition. What do I mean? Prepare yourself to be a workaholic if you're not already one, prepare yourself to be able to study long periods of time, right? So prepare early which degree you're also gonna go into, and then if possible, prepare early the nodes that it will require. So for example, if you're gonna do BSc, the extended program at the University of Pretoria, one thing I'd suggest that you do is start finding notes on the modules that you'll be taking as a BSc student in the extended program. So that's also one of the things I've been thinking of doing. But for now, I think the only thing I can do is just share some notes. So I think I'm also gonna create a Google Drive in the pinned comments, whereby I just give some notes on some modules that you might end up having to take when you come to the University of Pretoria for BSc, the extended program. And try to be ahead, try to be the best among your group, and do that. Use your grade 12 as preparation, right? So what I've said for grade 11s who are in the third, fourth term and their marks are not really looking good, I'll also apply it to grade 12s who are early within the term. You're still doing great. You're still in the first term, maybe starting the second term. I'd give you the same advice. Prepare yourself to be a workaholic. Set your study timetable proper. I would say know in advance what alternative degree you will use to get into medicine so that you can start studying, maybe reading some notes on the modules you'll be doing to get ahead of the other students who will be doing the same thing, wanting to jump over to medicine. So that is one thing you can do. And if you're in grade 12, also try to also push your NBT. Early grade 12, try to push your NBT, attend workshops. I am going to try and put a Google Drive with some of the documents that can help you with NBT. So try to get as much a great result with regards to your NBT. So now I'd like to move to the students who are in late grade 12. You're already in your third term, you're already in your fourth term. So for those who are excelling from grade 11 to grade 12, you're getting great results with the NBT, you're doing great with grade 12. I'd say to you guys, just continue applying. If they still want your final results for medicine, just make sure you maintain the excellence and jump over to medicine. So now if you find yourself in a place where you're in grade 12, you're in third term, you're in fourth term, and when you assess yourself, you're not really doing well as a student, right? My advice to you is not going to be a very good one, but with what I've seen, it's one of the best things I could say you can do. So my advice to you, and if this is still you want to do medicine, I would say take a gap year. And I know for a lot of learners who are doing grade 12, they don't want to hear that. And I'll explain why I'm saying this. The moment you finish grade 12, and I've had this pressure, I understand totally. The moment you finish grade 12, what we want to do is leave our homes as soon as possible to go to university, right? We are pressured to go into university. So one of the things we do, like I said, we motivate a lot of people to jump into medicine, and we just say go to BSc. And what ends up happening to a lot of students is they go into BSc and they are unable to compete. So you find that out of 100 students going to BSc, only 10 students will make it to medicine. And you find that 90 of those students now have to remain in a degree they never planned to do. Imagine now having to do 3-4 years of a degree you haven't planned to do. It's going to be a waste of time, it's going to be a waste of money, and it's going to hinder you, for example, for future purposes. Let's say you still want to jump into medicine, it's going to cause a lot of trouble when it comes to finding funding for you, finding a proper bursary, because they'll say that you already have a degree. A lot of bursaries will want to give funding to students who don't have a previous degree. So you find that that's where a lot of dreams for people wanting to make it to medicine die off. Right? So the alternative, what I've seen other learners do and it's working for them pretty well, is they take a gap year. Now you don't take this gap year to sit at home and do nothing, right? This gap year is for preparation. There are two things I'd say you must prepare for this gap year. So number one, make sure that you are applying to the alternative degree you want to go to. If it's nursing, make sure you're applying to nursing early on. If it's BSc, make sure you're applying to BSc early on. Maybe other people may be applying to BCMP. Go to BCMP, apply to BCMP, and you're applying with the clear intention of transferring maybe after 1 year or 2 years from the degree to medicine, right? So have that plan in your mind already. So that's the first thing. Apply as early as possible. Number two, I'd say apply for the bursaries as early as possible. But number three, start preparing. What I'd say is try to get the textbooks and the notes for the modules you'll be doing for that particular qualification, and use that gap year to learn those modules, so that once you get into BSc, for example, you'll be revising your chemistry, your physical sciences, and this will give you better chances in terms of being one of the top students from BSc and allowing you to jump over into medicine. Recently, I was talking to a student. It was UP Open Day, and I was talking to such a student, and what she did was she took a gap year, and after taking a gap year, what she came to me for was asking for notes for BSc, because she wanted to use that year to study. And I feel like that's a much safer route to take, because number one, it's going to save money. Number two, it's going to increase the possibility and the chances of you actually making it into medicine. So I'd say that would be one of the best advices I can give to you. One of the other things that you can do, which helped me a lot, is upgrade your results, right? And the major thing to focus on when upgrading your results is not really being excellent in maths or being excellent in physics, because those things are not going to matter when you do medicine, right? But the things that helped me with regards to being excellent in physics, excellent in maths, was it increased my capacity to study, So for me, from matric, I went to a college where I upgraded my English, physical sciences, and mathematics, got very good marks, and then from there on I went into BSc. And this upgrading year, it helped me because that's when I learned to cross-night, right? I wasn't really a learner who was cross-nighting in my high school years, but I learned to really cross-night when I was trying to get excellent marks for mathematics and physical sciences, right? The second thing that it helped me with, from that college, we did additional maths, which was part of the mathematics that we did in BSc, Biological Sciences, at the Mamelodi campus. So it helped me because I had one module less to study. During my BSc years, I really didn't study mathematics like that, and not because I was smart, but because I just did it before. It just gave me time to now focus on all the other modules. And even with that type of preparation, it was really hard for me to make it. So that's why I'm saying take time to really have a mindset of competition, number one. Number two, try to prepare for the modules you're going to be doing. And I hope that will help you a lot. So the other group I'd like to talk to are people who maybe might already be studying and are planning to finish their degree, right? The best advice for such people is the GEMP program. The GEMP program will save you time, and the GEMP program is done properly in VIT. So this is a program I really don't know a lot about, but there are some people who I'm going to be calling who's going to be talking on this subject a bit more in better detail than I would. But if you already have a degree, I'd say the two things to focus on is, number one is funding, right? Because the funding thing becomes an issue, right? So try to research early about funding and apply for funding very early on. And if you're still studying for the degree and you're towards the final years or the final months of that degree, try to excel in the degree as much as possible. Because I see a lot of people who have previous degrees come in and studying medicine, and you check their marks, they were really getting very, very excellent marks. So you find that even if you have a degree, the competition is still a bit high, right? So I'd say excel as much as you can. That's my first thing. Number 2, try the GIMP program at WITS, and you'll be able to save time. So, because if you're accepted in the GAMP program, what I know is that you'll start in third year, right? I mean, you don't have to do first year, you don't have to do second year. And for the GAMP program, from what I've learned, is they test your anatomy and your physiology. So if you find that you're good with anatomy and physiology, and you have and you're a previous degree holder, right, they'll allow you to start at third year, saving 2 years, saving time, and saving money. So these are the tips I have for you today. And like again, I'd advise that you listen to as many students who have an opinion on this matter, right? Because you're gonna get some different takes from people who have worked differently than, or who have seen differently than I might have seen. So with that said, all the best to you, and thank you for watching.